Hey, what's up guys, Movie Lord here, and today we're going to talk about Sony. Yes, this time we're going to talk about Sony and more acquisitions, because it's just apparently that the acquisition wars story arc just doesn't end. It just continues to happen, especially now that we're moving into this inevitable all digital era of gaming, and just not just gaming but also just entertainment in general. So what's going on with this acquisition? Who are they acquiring? Well, this acquisition right here has a lot of people talking because of the controversy that's behind it. Because if Sony acquires this studio, they not only acquire gaming studios, but they will have a monopoly on anime distribution, and this is a serious issue, especially knowing the nature of Sony. Once they get their hands on a lot of products, especially when it comes to anime, they go on a censorship spree, and many people are really upset or really biting their nails whether or not that this report is true, or is it actually going to follow through and actually happen. So before we even dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So we're going to dive right into it. It comes from Bounty in the Comics as usual. It says Sony reportedly working to acquire Kadokawa Corporation. Deal would see PlayStation parent company take direct ownership of Elden Ring and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero Devs studio. And as I said before, I will voice my opinion about this whole acquisition story arc, because I just think it's just getting way out of hand, getting out of control. But let's move on. So in a mood that, if it actually happened, would be sure to spark questions and concerns among players across the globe. A new report has suggested that in service of expanding their entertainment offerings, PlayStation parent company Sony is current talks to acquire Japanese media conglomerate Kadokawa Corporation. Word of Sony apparent active interest in Kadokawa Corporation was first reported in the early evening hours of November 19th, Tokyo Standard Time, courtesy of Reuters report, Enerban Sen and Sam Nussi. Having supposedly learned of this development via two sources familiar with the matter, the pair further noted that per said sources, the talks between the two sides are ongoing, and if successful, a deal could be signed in the coming weeks. And all I gotta say is, man, this is, please, but for some strange reason, this may happen. Don't be surprised that this will happen, because as I said before, this acquisition arc that we are experiencing right now, it just seemed apparently that these companies like Tencent, Microsoft, Sony, and many other studios who are just acquiring these studios has just been quite successful. Come on, we had the Activision Blizzard, one of the biggest controversial acquisitions of all time, and Microsoft was able to come in and swoop that. So do not be surprised. Do not be surprised that Sony themselves is successful with this one. So as we move forward, it says, when pressed for comments by Reuters, Sony declined to answer any questions. And you know how that is. When they don't answer questions, that means something is brewing behind the scenes. We knew that. While Kadokawa Corporation said it could not comment. Yes, so something is going on. So those reports seem to be probably accurate. Like I said, but we still got to take this for a grain of salt. These are just reports from sources. Founded in 1945, before evolving into its current form by way of a merger with Japanese media company Dwango in 2014, Kadokawa Corporation currently owns a notable collection of IPs and production companies relating to such entertainment mediums as anime, manga, and video games. So yes, so apparently before, this company was once something else, but then started acquiring other companies, and those companies already has properties already attached to them. Now, to Sony, this is a big win for them. It's because if they do get this, they not only get gaming studios, but they also get the whole entire package, manga and anime as well. So it says, in terms of anime, the holding company is currently a full or partial ownership of three well-known studios. Uzaki-tan wants to hang out. Animators Angi, 53%. The Rising of Shield Hero Studio, Kinema, Citrus, 32%. And Oshi no Co-Team, Doga Kobo, 100%. And It says, as for manga, readers may recognize Kadokawa Corporation as the parent company of such manga magazines as Young Ace and the monthly Shonen Ace. The former hosting such popular series as Bio Booster Armor Guyver and Bungo Stray Dogs, and the latter treating its audience to the likes of Sergeant Frog and Welcome to NHK. And yes, this is what they would have some type of ownership over if they take over this studio. This is where people are really concerned about. And the thing is, there's another aspect to this that really annoyed me, and we'll get into that in a second, because I commented on it on Twitter or on X. Further, they also publish a long-running anime industry-centric news magazine, New Type, as well as Mobile Suit Gundam Specific Gundam Ace, wherein fans of the franchise can find various exclusive manga, including Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin, and the Mobile Suit Crossbone Gundam sequel series, The Steel 7. But in terms of where Sony's interest in Kadokawa Corporation may lie, one need to look no farther than the rest of the video game studios. No. See, this is where I believe Bound in the Comics get it wrong. I believe this is where they get it wrong. These guys, Sony wants it all. It's not just wanting to get Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, get Shunsoft, and also, get, Elden Ring properties, Armor Core and stuff. It's not just about that. Sony knows exactly what they're doing. This is a win-win situation. Not only that they're getting these game studios, if this deal happens to go through, they're getting all this manga and anime property, and then they can cash in and make them into games too if they want to. That's crazy. They said these include Octopath Traveler and the Tenchu series developer acquire. Damn. Danganronpa franchise and the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero studio, Spike Chunsoft, and perhaps most recently giving Sony recent track record from software that Hidetaka Miyazaki-led company behind the Armor Core and Souls lines, as well as Elden Ring. Notably, the Kadokawa Corporation does not fully own From Software. They do hold majority stake in the company with roughly 70%. That's damn sure well enough. And the remaining amount is divided between Tencent subsidiary and Sony Interactive. That's enough for them. It says, while all three of these developers are powerhouses in their own right, giving Sony's fumbling of their larger video game operations, speculation suggests that From Software may be the apple of the company's eye. Given the studio's current popularity as provided to them by the sheer quality of their titles, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that Sony is looking to boost their own reputation by essentially enveloping From Software and attempting to pass their goodwill off as their own. And this is where I'm not liking this whole thing with this whole acquisition war is like starting to really get out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. And as I said before, I covered it here on this channel where we talked about Activision Blizzard and Microsoft and that big deal. We also can't forget about Microsoft when they got Bethesda, something that people didn't see coming, and then we saw what Sony did. And this is the problem with Sony as well. Microsoft and Sony has been doing this. We have been having these big corporations. They have been acquiring these studios, and then these studios happen to just after that just bomb. They end up being trash. Or Microsoft, what happened, especially with Tango Games, they finally get a Japanese studio, and we get something like Hi-Fi Rush, acquire the studio, and then the studio ends up dissolving. And that's what we've been seeing problems with. And then we look at Sony, which this video is about, and what's going on with this acquisition. They acquired Bungie, and many people, and this is what I've been talking about, and I've been like really irritated about, is that we have a certain quarter of the fan base or the gaming space who are so tied in and invested in the console war aspect, especially if you're a grown-ass man, you still invested in this console war stuff. The fact is that you have people, and I've talked about it on my X page, where you have people thinking, especially the Sony fanboys, just to get back at the Xbox or the Xbox fanboys, is saying that this is a great acquisition and it makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense in regards of what it does to the industry and what it does for us as consumers. Them acquiring this, Sony acquiring this studio, Kadokawa Corporation, they not only own Elden Ring and many other IPs, but it's also about the anime properties. And the thing is, Sony has a history, you know, for the past couple of years. Once Sony get their hands on things, especially when it comes to anime or anything that has a bit of fan service in it, or things that doesn't seem I guess you would say acceptable in today's modern era or modern society, they censor it. They censor a lot of this stuff, and especially when it comes to localization, this is going to be a big problem. This is going to be a serious issue when it comes to this. Like, these acquisitions has to stop. And the thing is, if they get a company like From Software producing Elden Ring, they want to take credit for it, you know? And also, are they going to do right by these studios? And that's where the problems lie. Yeah, like ever since they acquired Bungie has been just on a downward spiral, a downward decline, and now Bungie is in danger of actually dissolving. So we talked about this here on this YouTube channel, and now if Sony get this, how will this impact the other companies? I'd much rather these companies be able to act on their own and continue to operate as if they are independent, or as an independent studio. Just because Sony acquired them, they'll promise that they'll allow them to operate as an independent studio. I don't take their word for it. The same way I don't even take Microsoft's word for it when they've been acquiring these studios. But this is definitely not a good thing. People have been talking about it, and from the reports and the way that Sony is acting, and when Kadokawa, when they were asked whether or not this is true and they haven't really answered anything, then yes, this appears. I mean, it's smelling like it. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It seems like there's something is in the works, and now we want to just wait and see how all of this play out. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this acquisition, or possible acquisition of Kadokawa Corporation being consumed by Sony itself, and how would this impact anime, and how would this impact the video game studios that's under this umbrella of Kadokawa Studios? Definitely need your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is Mugen Lord signing off. I'll see you Gaming Fiends later. Peace out.